We're in part 12 and we're focusing on the word bear. So this can mean other things. So in this one, we are going to talk about bear as endure, carry, brace, reinforce. So when you're using it this way, it's bear, then the simple past is bore, and the past participle which puts you into your perfect is using the word born. Now I mixed these up a little bit from each other. Well, not these two, but this one I did. Now we're going to talk about the present tense. Now remember, the present tense is where you get so many changes, so you have to really understand how this works. So we are going to be in the progressive present. I am bearing the cost. Now look, bear takes the simple tense plus your ing. Do you see that, Polly? Bear takes the simple tense and then you get ing to get bearing. And then you have to use the correct auxiliary verb. Am, are, and is. When you are in the present tense, you're using am, are, and is for the progressive. Okay, so now I am bearing the cost. You are bearing the cost. Look what happens here. Third person singular, third person singular is bearing the cost. So Paul is bearing the cost, right? So he's enduring, he's carrying, he's reinforcing what the cost is. Yeah, this means you are being responsible right here. The present tense in the simple, you just take the simple tense and you use it without an auxiliary verb. I bear the cost, you bear the cost, Paul bears the cost. What happened here? It's in the present simple and the S changes right there because it's singular. What if we said Daniel and Paul? What's going to be right here? Bear the cost. Okay? So it only changes in third person, singular, simple present tense. Third person singular, simple present tense is when that S changes. Now present perfect, the perfect present tense. You are going to use the auxiliary verb have in first person. I have borne the cost. This is singular. You have borne the cost. See how it doesn't change, but look what happens in present tense in the third person. Paul has borne the cost. Right here it changes to has. This is the past tense. So that means we're going to be focusing on the past tense right here. Now past tense in the simple, you're going to use the simple past. I bore the cost. You bore the cost. Paul bore the cost. Now we're going into the perfect. What do we have to use? We have to use the past perfect. If it's in the perfect, no matter what, you have to use the past participle. So, I had borne the cost, but you have to use the proper auxiliary verb. Past makes past auxiliary verb. Past, past. Had is in the past for the perfect tense. I had borne the cost. You had borne the cost. Paul had borne the cost. Borne is your past participle, and it's the third one. 1, 2, 3. It's the third one. When you're using the perfect tense, past progressive, the progressive past. Now look at this. You're going to use the past tense auxiliary verbs, right? Was and were. What are our past tense auxiliary verb? Was, were. Past tense, was, were. Say it. Oh, was, were, was, were. Past tense auxiliary verb. Now, but if you're going in the progressive, that is only for the progressive tense. Past. For the progressive tense, you use was and were. I was bearing the cost. Look, bear, simple tense plus your ing. I was bearing the cost. You were bearing the cost. Paul was bearing the cost. So in the past, it's so much easier because look, they all stay the same right here. Simple, the same. The perfect is the same. The progressive was bearing. Now it does change in second person. You were bearing because singular, this is singular, takes the singular verb. Singular takes the singular verb. Third person. Okay? Now, what if I said Daniel and Paul? What would we use here?
Were.
Were bearing because this is a singular verb. Was is singular. Now, future tense. let's go with this. Future tense, we're going to take the simple, and when we're in simple, we take the simple tense right here. Right, Polly? Mm-hmm. I will bear the cost. You're going to, in simple, you're just adding the auxiliary verb will, and this says, I am in the future. The word will puts you in the future, and then you use the simple tense auxiliary verb. I will bear the cost, you will bear the cost, Paul will bear the cost. Now, what are we taking here? Bear, simple tense. This is the very first one you typically see in the dictionary. That's your simple tense verb. Now, future perfect, the perfect future tense. You are going to use, in the future, you are going to use I will have born. First person, singular. This is singular, takes, okay, I will have born. Now, you will have borne, Paul will have borne the cost. I will have borne the cost, you will have borne the cost, Paul will have borne the cost. Are there any changes there? No. Where do you see the changes? In present tense.
And sometimes past.
And you will see the changes in the singular, right? But not in the future. You're not going to see the change in the future. And you will see the change in the past when they are talking about the singular or the plural, right? But where we really see that in the present. Okay, now future tense. Simple tense is bear. I will be bearing. Now look, you're going to take bear and add your ing. I will be bearing the cost. You will, in the future, you are the one that's going to be bearing it. You will be bearing the cost, and then Paul will be bearing the cost. Look, bear is your simple tense plus your ing. So you make sure you're using the simple tense word plus your ing to get the progressive, whether you are in first, second, or third person. Now, if we look right down here, look, the simple is bear. Your progressive is going to be your helping verb plus bearing. Then the perfect is your helping verb plus born. That's your past participle. And then your simple past is right here, bore. And the simple past and the perfect are different verbs. Look, they are different. Bore and born. Okay, we'll see you guys in the next lesson.
Watching this video, stay tuned for the next one.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.